crash bars, bubble crash bars, skid plate, dry out. Now, some around here, you know, like will be everyone back here, crash bars off the bike. They might just right here, motor mount bolt, and I had a scary moment when I thought I had changed the threads out of there. Ended up chasing them out with a tap. They were just a little dirty, and getting a new bolt to accommodate the extra width of the Camel ADV frame brace. And so tragedy was averted. And I decided then and there I would never run crash bars again if they went off this main motor mount bolt. Looking over the kit that Garda sent out, I think it mounts to the 2 bolts that go down for the lower frame brace, and then back here, I think it totally avoids this bolt. We'll find out. Now, when the guys at Garda first got a hold of me, I told them no thank you, because we couldn't tell if their crash bars would work with my GP Mucci skid plate, and I absolutely love this skid plate. So they said, why don't we send you the crash bars and the skid plate, and you can just try them out. You don't like them, you can chuck them. I said, all right, send them out, we'll give it a shot. And really the only reason I went with it is because they're friends with the guys at Dope Mirrors. So they sent me out all that stuff, but as usual, my opinion's my opinion, and they don't have a say in it, nor do they get to see this video before it goes live. So let's get this unboxed and laid out and see what all's in there, and then we'll start doing a piece by piece, putting it together. This may be a little bit longer of a video because I'm kind of going to go step by step as I install it, and we'll see how it goes together. Let's get started. That's the whole kit right there. Lower crash bars, upper crash bars, crossover bar, skid plate, the, I guess you call it a kicker for the rear shock protection up front there, instruction manual, and then your assorted nuts, bolts, washers, spacers as needed. So now let me get the old skid plate off the bike and all the mounting brackets for that, and then we'll dig into the instruction manual and see where the best place is to start with this. All right, old skid plate is off. Everything's bagged up and somewhere safe. I want to take a look at these directions and just get a general idea of what we're working with. Garda, made in Poland. So let's have a look. All right, so it looks like that rear piece needs to go on first. Front piece needs to go on.
All right, so that rear piece with the kicker guard goes on first with the lower crash bars. Seems pretty simple. So first we'll put on the kicker with the lower crash guards. Then we'll put on the part that goes up by the neck. Then we'll get the upper crash guards on there, and it looks like skid plate goes on last. All right, let's get this off of here. These are 12, by the way. All right, so out of the box, this little kicker part right here, all these bolts are loose, so I just tightened all those up, and we'll get this put on. This goes first because I need to integrate the lower crash bars. Excuse me, the lower crash bars in with it. So I got all 4 of those bolts out. They're 12s. Make sure you put them somewhere safe. Don't lose them. Those hold your bottom frame rails on. So put those somewhere safe. We'll get this thrown on with the bottom engine guards. And it looks like you just kind of work your way up the bike and then skid plate last. So let's get this going. All right. Bottom kicker plate. Make sure you put it on the right direction. Should go that way. Now, according to the instructions, this bar should be on the inside, like so. Seems like kind of a hard ask, because there is not a lot of room. Oops. This is why it says it requires 2 people. But I refuse. I refuse. All right. Those are loose, but started. Let me hit the other side real quick. We'll be right back. All right, next we got to put this little, oh, dropping bolts here. This little bracket, I'm sure you've seen them before on every other crash bar. It just goes right up in there. I almost threw this part away. It was just a big wad of bubble wrap, and I didn't realize anything was in it. And I almost chucked it out, but I was like, where's that part? So I went through all the trash and found this, so don't throw this part away. You will need it for the upper crash bars. 2 little bolts, 2 little washers. Just goes up in there, so when the crash bars cross over, they can connect here. So let's get that thrown in. Now when you take these out, there's a very focused camera. There's a very special shouldered washer that goes in the right side of the bike. Do not lose these. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. All right. Crossover brace installed. All right. Next up, I gotta get the 2 bolts out of the lower frame brace. Take these bolts out. And it looks like this just kind of tucks up in there. Do I have the wrong side? I might have the wrong side. Do I have the wrong side? No. Looks like it goes off these 2 bolts. 2 frame brace bolts, and then this little guy wraps around here. I'm not sure what these 2 holes are for. They're just a weird shape. right there. Maybe it's just for looks, or I don't know. It kind of looks like the Garda symbol, so maybe it's just for looks. I really like that these crash bars don't go off this main motor mount bolt. I think that's a really unintelligent place to run crash bars off of. I think you're just asking for serious trouble. These bolts for the lower frame brace tubes are 12s, if you're curious. But I believe the kit comes with its own bolts that go there, so it might not matter. Take these little guys off. And like I said, I haven't tightened anything down yet besides that crossover brace. Everything else is just kind of snug, but still movable. This one's a little different because I have the Camel ADV frame brace installed, but we'll see how it does. I think all these bolts will still be long enough. These two bolts are, make sure you torque them to spec. This one, and not a bad idea, but this one especially because it goes into your motor. So don't over torque that. There's an aluminum head that it goes into. You'd be having a bad day if you strip that out. All right. These crash bars are in a pretty cool spot though. I think that's pretty cool. They're not too high up. Might even be able to hang my bags there. Because the Hepco and Becker ones, they came up like up here. Hold on. So they were like up here like that, which I can't really tell because I got these bags on here. Just go like that so you can see. So it would have been in this neighborhood. These ones are a little more down here and covering the coolant lines, which is kind of cool. All right, let me get all the bolts together for this stuff. All right, I think I got my bolts. It looks like it comes with a kit bolt for this. So we got our 2 bolts for up here. Actually comes with a bolt for right here, which is nice, makes it all black, and then it comes with an extra bolt for up here that's just a bit longer than the stock bolt. Makes sense. I'm sorry if you just hear the AC noise, but it's supposed to be up in the hundreds today in my neck of the woods in Idaho. So I got the AC blaring out here in hopes of not dying. Gets hot in the garage. I like that these crash bars have a ton of mounting points. They don't line up the best I've ever seen on crash bars, but so because of this bar here, which has a little fitting welded into it, it kind of screws with this, but we'll make it work. All right, that's basically all together. I think it looks pretty stinking good, honestly. Let me get the battery's about to die. Let me get the other side thrown on, and then we'll connect them in the middle and see how we end up. All right, got that side on. Now we just need to get this crossover bar in. And Looks like it's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Grab it. All right. Those are in. Let's get this crossbar in. All right. Everything's on and not tight. It's all just snugged up. Last thing I got to do is put this crossbar on right here. Protect the radiator. Just need a washer and a nut. That bolt seems a little long, but I don't think it'll touch the radiator, but it does seem kind of long. But it's the only bolt I got. All right, both sides are on there. Not bad, not bad. All right, we got all the bars on. Everything's still loose. I haven't tightened anything up yet. I think what I'll do is I'll get the main bracket torqued down. This bolt specifically you want to make sure is torqued because it goes into the lobe right here that comes off the side of the case, and that's aluminum, and you got a steel bolt, so make sure this one's torqued. On the other side, the other bars, they just mount here and here. It doesn't go into this one, so it's a little less stressful. But we'll get all these main ones torqued and probably tighten up the front, and then I'll get these torqued up and this torqued up, and then we'll pick back up with putting the skid plate on. That's kind of the exciting part. I want to see how that looks. But so far, I think the bars look great. Fit and finish is pretty nice. Little finicky to get it installed, you know, make sure you do it in the right order and don't tighten anything up before putting it on, because even having everything loose, I still had to, like, you know, finagle some bolt holes to get them to line up, but nothing crazy. The other thing you got to watch out for on the other side, right down here where it connects to the bottom frame rail, if you still have your kickstand sensor, that wire runs across the top of the frame rail and zip ties right between these two bolts. You'll have to cut that loose and kind of push it back out of the way when you put these lower crash bars on. Not a big deal. You just cut the zip tie and push it towards the inside of the bike, and it's totally fine. But just remember to do that so you don't squish your wire and give yourself problems. So let me torque these down, and I'll catch back up with you before we put the skid plate on. So let's see if we can't get this thing on. Oh yeah, that should work. Nice. All right, skid plate's on, crash bars are on. Pretty nice looking. Not bad looking crash bars. All right, guys, that is the Garda. I think they call it the Ultimate or something like that. It's the upper crash bars, the lower crash bars, and the skid plate. Fit and finish, pretty stinking good. You know, because I had the Camel ADV bars on there, the frame braces, It made some of the installation with just these going together a little bit of a pain in the butt, and I kind of messed myself up with 2 bolts down here. I originally put those Allens in, but they actually go here and on the crossover, and there's some longer ones that go down here. Switch those around. I think the crash bars look pretty cool. I really like these on both sides. They protect the bike really well, the motor anyway. I'm not so sure about the skid plate. I really don't like being able to see the cat and all the tubes and everything. You just get junk up in there. The radiator's not really protected. And I think the styling of the GP Mucci is just my favorite. It's not a bad looking skid plate, and the quality seems incredible. It's just, I think the GP Mucci one is just so much better aesthetically. I really like it a lot more. But we'll get out, run this through its paces, see what happens. Anyway, you get any questions, let me know. Let me know what you think of the looks on the skid plate, which one you liked better, the old one or this one. And we'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.